with the Minister of Public Administration, and part of the conversation was about technology and improving technology inside the public service. This morning, we're going to continue that conversation with Shamla inside Unique Not Different as we discuss technological access for the blind. Here's Shamla with Unique Not Different.
Good morning, guys, and welcome to Unique Not Different with me, Shamla. And today I have Mr. Kenneth Surratt, the Executive Officer of the Blind Welfare Association. So recently, there was a release by the Telecommunications Authority of, access to technological devices for persons who are blind and visually impaired. So today, he's on to talk about, how employment, access to this alone is not adequate, because in order to get equitable access, you need money. And in order to get money, you have to work for the money. So today, I have, as I said, Mr. Kenneth Surratt. So good morning, Kenneth. How are you?
Very well. Thank you very much, Shamla, for this opportunity. Thank you to Trinidad and Tobago. And good morning, each and everyone.
Awesome. So in terms of, so there are technology being available for persons with disability, right? But how, from your point of view, especially persons who are blind and visually impaired, that have to depend on this technology to, function in mainstream society, how is access to this technology taking place?
Well, it is a sort of a chicken and egg situation. You need money to get a job, and you need a job to get money. So we have a kind of chicken and egg situation. We are happy that TAP got involved and given this discount rate for persons who are blind, and across the board for all persons with disability to have access to cell phones. But the issue is, I always say blindness is an expensive hobby, because even if you apply the discount, for I to use a proper phone, it is very expensive. So yes, we are appreciative of the discount, similarly to what the government is giving discount or tax relief for aids and equipment. But when you take all the taxes off, these equipment are still expensive, and it is very, very difficult for someone with a disability who having problem just access an education to get employment. So what we have started at Blind Welfare, we started writing trade unions to ask them to put in their collective agreement, if someone gets disabled on the job, every effort should be made to have that person rehabilitated. We also started chatting with the Ministry of Labor to have a national policy for employment for the disabled in Trinidad and Tobago. And after that, we are going to pursue HR departments from private sector to public sector companies to ensure diverse employment for persons with disability. When someone gets a job and has a disability, it creates a whole new world, because now this person has additional income greater than disability grant, because disability grant is just not sustainable, especially with oil and gas being something of the past very soon, with electric vehicles coming on stream, solar energy. Trinidad going to be a different place, and we have to push to get persons with disability employed, because we're going to have a shortage of young people in this country, because people are living longer, so we need to keep people in the workplace longer. And once you're in the workplace longer, you will suffer some type of disability. So we need to make every effort to get people on the job longer and functioning.
So, and you spoke about a person who have current disability, right? A person who, got a disability as a child, who was born with a disability, right? Why, from your point of view, why is it that we still are not, getting access to proper employment?
And it goes back to education. And as I go back to my earlier statement, this chicken and egg situation, we need to find some ways to ensure that we have an inclusive education system. We need to have equity in the classroom. Simple thing like, say, someone who's blind has to write an exam. All the time in the classroom, you're using your computer. but you cannot write the exam using the computer. So they wanted to use a reader writer. No way a reader writer could compensate for you using the technology in the classroom and using the technology to write the exam. So we need to find some way to, the Ministry of Education needs to become more dynamic to accommodate the needs of persons with disability. So soon as you have persons with disability getting that education, getting the skills set to function in the workplace, getting that workflow to be efficient, persons who are blind will start getting employment. And once you have employment, the transport system will have to kick in, because now that person with disability will have to be moving back and forth from work. Also, the technology going to have to kick in, because now persons who are blind might be working from home. So we need accessible technology to accommodate screen reader, refreshable braille display. There are some persons who have low vision that need different color contrast to function, because a lot of people feel blindness is total darkness. But blindness is not only total darkness. There are different levels of visual impairment.
Yeah. So as the executive officer of the Blind Welfare Association, what type of consultation or even helping persons approaching your organization, example, from a government level, a stakeholder level, to say, okay, how can we work together, for example, ministry, corporate TNT, to see how we could, I guess, get ourselves prepared to have a more integrated and inclusive educational improvement sector?
Yeah, so what we've been doing, we started working, recently the government amended the copyright law. So now all printed material could be in an accessible format for persons who are blind without getting permission from copyright holder. And NALIS has that license. So we've been partnering with NALIS to make sure persons who are blind have access to printed material. We've been working with the Ministry of Education to make sure that we have over 100 children who are visually impaired in the school system. So what we are there to support these children, to give them mobility training, orientation, make sure that their textbook is in accessible format so that they could compete in the classroom. But we want to encourage the Ministry of Education to have specialized teachers in every district to assist children who are blind. Remember, there's something called the plus curriculum. There are some skill sets that persons who are blind must learn: how to take care of themselves, how to get ready for school, how to socialize, how to be at the dinner table. And remember, persons who could see could go on YouTube and see that, but someone who is blind, you have to show them every step of the way. Because when you get up in the morning, you can take an inventory of your surroundings. But the person who is blind, somebody had either described it to them or let them touch it.
Right. And in closing, right, what I guess one suggestion, what would be one suggestion you would give in order to, I guess, propel this inclusive environment for persons who are blind, visually impaired, and with disability in particular?
My suggestion is, the problem is not the persons with this disability. It's to encourage quote unquote normal people to change the perception of persons with disability. And once they change the perception of persons with disability, the world will change. So my parting comment is to encourage all persons in Trinidad and Tobago and who view in this program, change your perception of persons with disability. Have high expectation for us. Parents have a high expectation for your children. Even the persons with disability have high expectation for yourself. You could achieve, you could make a difference in the school. Don't let nobody keep you back because of your disability. And thank you very much for this opportunity, Shanna.
It's always a pleasure, Mr. Surat. One thing that actually stood out, apart from your wealth of knowledge, is that you said blindness is a hobby. Yeah.
Yes. I enjoyed.
Yes. Yes.
I love it.
Right. Yeah, that made me laugh. So yeah, I want to say thank you so much for coming, sharing this knowledge, and I really hope that persons listen. So we could have, I guess, rather than a charity base, we could have